Hello and welcome to a Descent Devlog. It's been quite a while since my last one, but I think you'll be very excited and in agreement that this is going to be a worthwhile update. There's a bunch of new content, such as a bunch of new items, I think over 25, some new guns, new gun system, a new enemy, and of course, the level editor. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, here is the level editor in all of its glory. It's a bit overwhelming, so we'll take it bit by bit. There are three main areas you'll see in the level editor. You have the left side, which is regarding all of the objects you can select and place in the level. You have the middle, which is where you're going to be mainly working, which has all of the space you'll actually be editing in the level. And finally, on the right side, you have your data editing, so how you save the room structure, all that stuff, and the loadout you use to test the room. So, without further ado, let's get to testing, or building rather. So, on the left side is this menu. This is every single item that you can find in-game, all in one place. It's a bit overwhelming, so if you want to find a specific item, you can use the search box down here and type it out. Let's find a rail, if you want to build rails. Well, we can type that and it pops up. We can also just look for, I guess, enemies, so if we do like a turret, boom. Oh, too many R's. Yep, we get all the different turrets. If you don't want to do a specific search and instead want to find a group of objects, you can use this option. This is the filter, so right now we're filtering for everything. If we click this, we get a little menu, and we can, for example, select traps, and now we'll return only the traps. We can instead do decoration, and now we have all the decorations in one place. So it's a very handy menu if you just want to get a palette. You can also do enemies. There we go. So let's try and build a level, actually. So first we'll select an enemy over here. As you can see, we have the turret, and it's now following my mouse position. What you'll also notice is it filled up a slot here. This is the hotbar, and if I keep selecting objects, it'll keep filling up the hotbar. I can move to the different objects in the hotbar with my keys, so 1 for the first slot, 2 for the second slot, etc. Let's also get some decorations in here. If you press 0, you also go to empty mode, which lets you select and do some other cool things, which we'll get into later. Yeah, let's get some decorations. I guess I'll get some blocks. Let's get a trap, and there we go. We can start experimenting with this. If you want, you can also click down here to select, if you don't like the keys, the 1, 2, 3. So, to place some object, all you have to do is left click. And there we go. Boom. That's all I have to do. Level editor finished. No. But yeah, you can left click to add enemies. To get rid of enemies, you can press E to toggle the eraser, and you can just click on anything or hold click and drag over it to remove something. What you'll notice is that our bombardier is slightly hovering across the floor. To fix that, we can press space, and it'll snap to the ground, which is much, much nicer. I also might not want all my objects rotated the same, so to rotate it, I can press R, and rotate it 90 degrees. So now I can place a few of these in the level, and there, now we have some variation already. To actually test out a level, you can press the escape button, or the play button up here. And now we're in, and we can shoot these enemies, kill them, do all that jazz. And once we want to stop testing, we can just press escape again, and we're back to the editor view. If I want to undo an action, let's say I don't want these enemies here, I can press Ctrl Z to undo, and I can press Ctrl Y to redo. You can also do Ctrl Shift Z if you're more into that, but both methods work for redoing. So, let's just try and build out a level. Here I got a nice cube, might place it there, might place it there, but you'll see, it's not placing correctly. It's very granular, and I want it to have a blocky feel. To do this, I can enable the grid mode. I can go up and press the grid button here, and you'll see it brings up a big grid. I can also click it again to toggle to the smaller grid. This isn't really helpful because it's really bright and there's a lot of colors, and we're in isometric view. To change that, I can press the button here and go to top-down view. So now I can like rotate this and be like, okay, there's a block of space there, rotate this, make sure there's a block of space, etc. If you want to edit the level without this, the lines, you can press V to toggle the gizmos, even though I still have the grid snapping. So I'll toggle V, and you can also use G, rather than clicking the button up here, to cycle through the grid options. And you can use P to toggle between the perspective mode. So, that's how you interact with some of the level elements. And let's say, for example, I don't want to have these blocks in the order they are, or I want to move it. To simply do that, you have to press 0 on the keyboard if you have a hotbar element selected, and you can click on this to grab it and move it around. So I can rotate it, move it up, down. You can move stuff vertically using the scroll key. And let's say I wanted to, I don't know, move it along a certain axis. To do that, I can press Shift X or Shift Z to move it on a desired axis. So if I do Shift Z, I can move it along the Z axis, and if I do Shift X, I can move it along the X axis. We'll just undo that so it goes back to the normal spot. Let's say, additionally, I want to rotate something. To do that, you simply pick up the object, and you can press any of the buttons X, Y, or Z, and then you can rotate that object around that corresponding axis. So the X axis, I bring that up, and to rotate it, you just use the scroll bar. So I can scroll the object, anything I want. Let's do like an L to get some nice depth in there. Then, if I want to change again, I can do Z. Rotate around the Z axis, like a little arrow, or I can even do Y, and get all these crazy shapes and figures. And just like that, you can do anything you want. It's very, very cool. I like it a lot. What else? So I'll place a few more traps. So I'm just going to decorate the level a little bit, and we'll meet back in a bit. So, I've gone ahead and made a little level here. If we go, we can test it, we can do all this stuff, and that's great. Maybe I put a few too many traps. So I've gone ahead and I've made the level. It's a little cute level, and as we can see, we can press escape, start playing around and testing. And it's pretty cool. I like it. Let's say though, there's a few problems you can run into while you're making a level. For example, let's say if you're trying to place a cabinet on the edge of the arena like this, you might notice that it might be red sometimes, like if I place it a bit too deep. That's because it's clipping out of the bounds of the level, and if you play, you'll see they get automatically culled from the playtest level. This will also happen if you try and save. We'll let those particles go away. But if you try and save a level that has culled objects, it will just not save those, and it'll ignore those. To move them, you can just click them again and drag them in bounds slightly until it's fine. And then they'll show up normally and they'll get saved normally. That's one of the issues you may run into. Another issue is, let's say there's a lot of stuff around here, and for example, if I want to erase like maybe the bombardier or this, if I want to erase the bombardier, or like, you know, some of these objects that are kind of close together, it can be a hassle, because I don't want to be super precise when I'm trying to erase a type of object. To do this, you have eraser masks. Up here in the middle, you have the erase all drop down. You can click that and you can choose any of these masks. You can erase only traps, paths, etc. In my case, I want to erase only the enemies, so I want to place new enemies around. I can click that, and now, if I toggle my eraser, you can see I only erase the enemy objects. Additionally, you'll notice that any objects you're about to erase will be red, so it's very easy to determine what you're going to erase. Now this is a cool level. However, you might not want to create only crossroad rooms, which are basically rooms with all the openings available. To do that, you can click to toggle, I guess, the orientation of your room. You can click on these gray boxes here, and they toggle the doorways on and off. So if I want to make a vertical room, I can disable these two rooms, and now it's vertical. What you'll also notice is up here on the left, I haven't talked about this, but this is the room spawn selector. The gold room you see up here is the door that we spawn out of. If I want to spawn out of a different room, I can click it, and boom, now I'm spawning out of the bottom. You cannot choose a new room to spawn in once it's disabled, so if I want to spawn in the left, I can untoggle this, click, and I'm spawning out here. This is a good way to test how players might enter a level in different ways, especially for making a non-symmetrical level, or an asymmetrical level I should say. It's very good to test multiple entrances and exits, yeah. So, this is a cool level, but how do I save it? How do I, actually play with it? Well, that brings us to the last, or almost last part of this level editor, which is the data component section. So, let's add a few more enemies back in. I guess what I can do is I can just Control-Z a lot of this. There we go. I love that feature so much. So let's save this. We'll do my test room. Over here we have some different buttons. This button, the plus button, just creates a new room, which I'm not going to do right now because I'm quite fond of this. This is the save button, so all we have to do is, once we're happy with it, so once we've configured it, yeah, let's make it we'll make it a crossroads for simplicity's sake. So I'm happy with it. I like the biome it's in. If you want to change the biome, you can come to the drop down, and you have the lush caves biome you can set it to, the mines biome. It not only changes the template, but also where the room will appear when loading into the game. Once you're all happy with the settings you configured, you can press the save button. And there we go, the level has been saved. How do I see this level though? Well, this is where you can go to the level browser. You can open the folder, and here you see every single level in the entire game. I'm going to explain this briefly because there's a lot going on in this menu. First, we have the room list. The color shows the biome it's part of, so this is the robot ruins. You can also see this, each room has a standardized naming component at the start, which is the biome, the type of ruin, and then the name of the actual room. So here are the lush caves, mines, etc. The diamonds over here show the room orientation. So if all of the squares are blocked out, that means that it's a crossroad room. A room like this, for example, which doesn't have the top one crossed out, means that the north component, or the north door, is blocked. For example, if we take that further, this would have the north and west component both blocked off, as we can see here. The locked icon basically tells you if it's a developer room or not. Developer rooms you cannot delete, and you cannot save over, but you can use them and load them if you want to use it as a template. So for example, if I try and go to, I guess, the Four Corners room, and I try and save over it, you get an error that you cannot overwrite a locked room. Finally is the X here. The X is the delete button, so if I would want to get rid of my test room, I can press the delete button and delete it. I don't want to do that because there's a bit more I want to show with it, but that's how you would delete rooms that you have made or imported. If you want to search for a specific room, you can come down here to the input field and type in the name. So if I want to find my test room, I can type my test room, or I guess just test room, and it'll pop up just like that. Let's say you don't know the name of a room, or you want to find a type of a set of rooms. Well, there are some filter options over here. On the top left side of this menu is a little plus button. If I press this, it brings up a filter. this is the direction filter. And what you can see is it's all blocked off, meaning all doors are open. And what do we see? Well, we're getting only blocked off rooms, or crossroad rooms, essentially. So yeah. If I want to, for example, filter the north-south rooms, so just top-bottom, I would configure it here. And there we go, we're only getting vertical rooms. To change or delete filters, you can click either the bottom of the icon deletes it, or the middle and top of the icon changes it. Let's say, for example, I want to filter the biome or locked room, so if I do only unlocked, you can toggle that by clicking the icon. We only get my room. One last thing to notice is that how these filters work exactly. So let's say I want to return only top-down rooms. If I add another filter for crossroads only, you'll see that I'm getting both. The way this works is the filtering system works subtractively with different types of filters, but additively with the same type of filter. Basically, if you have two direction filters, the system will return all rooms that fit either of these options. If I add another filter and say only go for Robot Ruins biome, well, the game will now subtract this from the possible pool. So if I get rid of this, you can see I'm getting Lush Caves and Mines rooms, but adding it back in, it only returns rooms within the Robot Ruins biome. I can again do this for the Mines, and it'll return all the rooms that are either Mines or Robot Ruins that are fully blocked off or horizontal. Vertical, sorry. I'm getting mixed up with my words. So that's how to use the filter system. It's very cool, and I like it a lot. Then, if we want to create a new room, or just restart the room from scratch, we can press the plus button, and boom, wipes everything, data clear, all is perfect in the world. Finally, we have the import-export buttons. This is how you're going to be able to share your levels with other people, and import levels that other people have made. So, if I go here into my folder, let's select the My Test Room. It's pretty cool, I like it, and I want to share it with someone. So, to do that, we can press the Export button right here. It'll bring up a little, it'll bring up your file explorer. I'll go to my export rooms, and I'll select this as the location for my room. Export that, and boom, Robot Ruins Crossroad My Test Room has been exported. To import someone's room, so let's say I create a new room, or even I delete this by accident. Oh no. If I look for it, where's my test room? It's gone. To import a room, you press the import button, and then here you can select it. So I did my test room, open that, and it comes back just perfectly. The one thing you should note is that when you import a room, it doesn't save to the disk automatically. So if I search for here, I don't find my test room. To do that, I just have to press the save button, but all of the levels, room configuration, enemy placement, and bonus data, as well as the name, is all automatically exported. So if you just want the basic room, you can just import a room and save it immediately. I can also do this other room and save that. And now you can see I'm starting to grow my little collection. And I will filter by this. And there we go. That is how you would use the, I guess, room configuration and saving and loading and everything. We'll get rid of these two rooms and explain the final part of what you can do in the editor, which is loadouts. Let's say, for example, I load up a level in the mines. We'll do this one. There's a lot of fireflies here, and if you know anything, fireflies are really, really scary enemies. So if I go in here as the basic drone, I'm not going to be able to do anything. There's too many bullets and too many fireflies and too much HP, and eventually I will just die. If you do die in the level editor, it will just reset you back to the testing screen, so no worries about losing progress or anything like that. But as you can see, it's not really useful to test my level like this because I'm too weak. The player would obviously be a lot stronger at this point in time. This is where the loadout comes in. What you'll notice is you can select your weapons, assign some curses and items, and it's very, very cool. So, one change that's been made to the game is the player can now hold two different weapons at a time. You have your main weapon and your secondary. To swap between the two, you just press the Q button, but that's a gameplay update which I'll talk about during the actual update video. So if I want to change my weapon, I can go here and select it from the list. Let's choose the Gatler Supreme, for example. Now if I load into the level, I have the Gatler Supreme, and it's a bit more fair, but a gun does not make a build. You also need some items to go along with it. So here, I can press the plus button and assign some items. This is a list of every single item in the game, and again, you can use the input field down here to search. Let's say I want, I don't know, the butcher, and shark tooth necklace, and I'll get some battery bullets, because why not? So, if I load into the game, I have those items now. I'm shooting much faster, moving a bit faster, there's some sparks going from the battery bullets. It's cool. The items are applied and then removed as soon as you leave. If you want to edit the amount of stacks of an item you have, you can press the up arrow down here, press the down arrow at the bottom of the icon, or to swap the item out, you just click in the middle, and then you can swap it out. Let's say I want, instead of this, I want some double dice, and let's give myself, like, 10 double dice, because you never get to play with this many double dice. Well, now if I free this guy, there's going to be sparks flying everywhere, and it's great. It's really fun system. It's really fun system to play around with. To get rid of an item, you just reduce its stacks back to 0. There's still a few items in here without icons, but that's going to be fixed with the full update coming. Finally, you can also close the menu by just pressing the plus icon again. Then, to assign curses, you know, to simulate if someone's been diving down the hallway, you can press the plus, and this is the curse menu. There's not so many curses in the game, but if you do want to sort them by any reason, you can just type in here. So if you want, like, ice, or arrogance, you can search that. Let's just keep it simple with weight. So weight reduces my move speed stats, but also gives me 2 bonus HP. That's all good, but let's say I want to cleanse it. Well, to cleanse it, you just press the top, and you can cleanse it. There's no icon here, but titanium hull makes me move normal speed, and it still gives me the 2 bonus HP. So I'm moving pretty fast. If I go back to the curse, you can see, I'm so sluggish, yuck, it feels awful. If you do just want to get rid of a curse entirely, you can press at the bottom of the icon, and you can delete it. And again, if you want to swap it out, just press the middle, and there you go. You swap, it's all good. I guess I'll briefly show off. Not going to show you the Mystic Spear, so that's for later. But if I have 2 weapons, you can see I have my Gatler. I press Q, swaps to the shotgun. So that's all good. Your nullifier rounds also refresh. So if I go boop boop, there, I get them both back. So that's how you can use the loadouts. If you want to randomize your loadout, let's say just, you know, I don't want to configure anything by myself, you can press the randomize button down here, and it'll give you some items, some curse, and weapons based off your floors. If you're on floor 1, which is the mines and lush caves, you'll be given 1 to 2 curses. They might be cleansed, a few items, and 1 or 2 weapons. So you can see, you can fight. I don't like that weapon very much. Yeah, it gives you a bit more ability to test based off the power level. It's not going to perfectly reflect the power level, but in future versions, there's going to be, like, I guess, better power weightings. But as you can see, I'm much more easily able to clear the room without taking too much damage. If I go to another level, or just even change this to the Robot Ruins layout, and randomize it, you'll see I'm not given a curse, I'm given less items, and just generally way less powerful. Let's go back here. Finally, you can also save and load these loadouts. So if I want to save this loadout, I can press the save button and give it a name. We'll just give this Mines Test loadout. And we'll press the button, and boom, it's saved. To load a loadout, you can press the folder icon, and you can see there's a few I've added. I'm just going to delete those. But if I press this, it gets loaded in. To create a new loadout, you just press plus, and it clears everything. Just to show that it actually gets loaded. Boom, there we go. And yeah, that is it from the level editor perspective. There's a few more things I want to go over, so I'll go back to Robot Ruins, clear everything. There's a few buttons I didn't go over, and a few little tricks. One of the tricks I like is if you have an enemy, for example, and you want to test out some things, you can enable damage numbers. So this button up here enables damage numbers, so if I toggle it on, you can see how much damage each of my bullets are doing. This is good if you want to do some testing with, I guess, items. So if I have the Butcher, for example, now you can see I'm doing 13 damage per hit. Or if you want to test different things, so if I have, like, I guess, an incendiary coating and a toxic coating. You can see the color of the damage is also displayed. So green is toxic, red is fire, etc. So that's for the nerds who want to really get into the weeds about what their build is actually doing. You also have an object count here. Basically, you're not allowed to exceed 50 objects. So if I try and place 50 objects, place a bunch, 50 objects is a lot. You shouldn't be hitting this limit. But you can see I can't place any more. I can free up this limit by just deleting them, or I can Control Z to get access to more objects. So yeah. The last thing, I promise this is the last thing, is how to use the navigation tiles. So far, I'll just use the rail for example. Some objects can contain bonus data. And one of the most popular is the minecarts. This is the only one actually so far. I don't know why I'm saying one of the most popular. So when you're just in the editor, that's odd. Okay, whatever. When you're in the editor, that's a bug, you can click on the minecart and it'll pop up this little menu here. So you can store an object, remove an object, or move. If you move it, you just pick it up. You can move it as normal, so if I press Y, you know, all that good stuff. I'm gonna undo that. Let's say I want to put something in this minecart. So let's say the turret. Well, right now it's not really doing anything. It's not gonna pick it up. If I try and place it inside, nothing is gonna happen. It's very bad. To put an object in a minecart, you can click on it, store an object, and then you select an object to store. I'm gonna store the turret, and there we go. It's sitting inside the minecart. All beautiful in its glory. If I want to move the minecart now, I can just click on it, move it, and the object inside will keep the rotation. So the final thing in this update is to configure the rooms and show how you can find your own rooms during gameplay. So on the main menu, we're here again. There's a new option to configure rooms as well. We'll click that and it brings us to the configure room option page. It looks very similar to the room search page because it's pretty much the exact same. You can filter over here, stack filters, whatever. Currently I don't have any custom rooms here, but what I say will apply whether it's a developer room or not. So you can also search here. There's a few different options here. You can toggle custom rooms. Basically, this turns all custom rooms on or off, which will appear if you have custom rooms enabled. Reverting to default will basically just show you if I disable a few of these, it just reverts the selection to default, and then once you're happy with how the room pool is configured, you can just press save and it'll save your configuration to see it. So let's go over some of this. So I'm going to filter for only crossroad rooms and only in robot ruins, because that's the easiest to showcase. So it's pretty clear what is here. You have green and red arrows. Green check marks basically say that the room is enabled and is able to spawn in the room pool during gameplay. If you press that button, it'll go dark and have a red X, and that just says that it's going to be excluded from the pool. So for example, if I do this, the only crossroad rooms I'm going to see in the ruins will be the ziggurat room, which is like that room with the pyramid in the middle. It's very beautiful. If I disable all of the rooms and the generator tries to find a room from the room pool, for example, the generator wouldn't be able to find a crossroads in the robot ruins. It will instead just ignore your settings and choose one at random. So if you leave everything of a certain type disabled, it will act as if it's all enabled. Just to show that this works, I'm going to enable the ziggurat, save my loadout, and head into the game. Now I'm going to just quickly clear some of these rooms and show you that they're all ziggurat rooms. Alright, so I've cleared every room, as you can see. I'll clear this while. But yeah, I've cleared every single room, and now we'll go to all the crossroad rooms that have spawned. So this is a crossroads room right next to us. It's a ziggurat. This is a crossroad room. It's a ziggurat. This is a crossroad room, it's a ziggurat. This is a crossroad, oh, I guess that's where we spawned. This is a crossroad room, it's a ziggurat. This is a crossroad room, that's a crossroad, that's a crossroad, that's a crossroad. So you can see it does work. And that's how you will be able to see your own levels in the game. You can even completely ignore the developer levels if you so choose. So yeah, that is all of the features in the new update. Well, the level editor features, I should say. In a week or two, I'll be showing off the new weapons, weapon system, and items, which will also be a long video, so stay tuned. There's a lot of content coming, and I just hope you enjoy it all. That's it for today. Have a great evening, or a day, or whatever, and I will see you later. Have a good one.